Once upon a time, in a quaint village in West Africa, there lived a 20-year-old young woman named Amina. Everyone adored her for her kindness, her infectious laugh, and her outstanding school performance. Every afternoon after classes, she would take a dusty path lined with tall trees to head home. This trail was like an old friend to her, but on this particular day, something felt off in the air. As the sun still bathed the landscape in its golden light and birds chirped merrily, Amina walked with a spring in her step, her backpack slung over her shoulder. Near an ancient, towering baobab tree, a bright gleam caught her eye. There, on the ground in the shade of its gnarled branches, lay a 5,000 CFA franc bill, as if placed by fate itself. Amina paused, bent down carefully, and picked it up. The moment her fingers touched the paper, an icy shiver ran through her, like a winter breeze in the height of summer. She hesitated, wondering if she should leave it be. Yet the thought of how this money could brighten her daily life, new books, a stylish outfit, little treats for her family swept away her doubts. She tucked the bill into her pocket and continued on. But with each step, a shadow of unease crept in. A tingle at the back of her neck made her glance back at the baobab, as if she'd disturbed some forgotten force. It was too late. This bill wasn't a random find. It had been left by a dark spirit, a shadowy entity seeking pure souls. Amina, innocent and unaware, arrived home with her heart swelling from an illusory joy, a bright smile on her face, oblivious that this happiness would soon fade into unimaginable nightmares. The next morning, Amina woke up energized, thrilled by her unexpected discovery. She dressed quickly, grabbed a simple breakfast, and headed to the bustling village market. The place hummed with life, intoxicating spice scents. Vendors' calls echoing as they hawked their wares, stalls overflowing with vibrant goods. She went straight to a friendly seller's shop she knew well, packed with colorful dresses and pants. For weeks, a chic, comfortable pair of pants had caught her eye, but it was beyond her means. Today, with her 5,000 CFA francs, it was finally hers. The pants cost 3,000 CFA francs, a soft, lightweight fabric, perfect for the heat. Amina pointed it out eagerly, and the seller, charmed by her sparkle, handed it over. As she passed the money, an unnatural warmth surged up her arms. She shook her head to dismiss the fleeting feeling and left the shop, proud and delighted, her purchase in a bag. But before heading out, her gaze lingered on a small bistro at the market's edge, a cozy spot serving tasty meals. The idea of a comforting lunch after her win appealed to her instantly. She stepped into the rustic venue, where soft light created an intimate vibe. Few customers were there, but the staff greeted her with an almost familiar warmth, as if expecting her. Seated by the window, watching the lively street, she ordered a steaming bowl of rice with juicy meat and crisp vegetables, a humble but delicious dish. While waiting, she discreetly pulled out the remaining bill, stared at it briefly, and a fresh shiver hit her. It was as if an invisible shadow hovered over her mind. When the food arrived, she dove in hungrily, each bite more intense than the last. Yet a growing emptiness filled her, an invisible weight pressing on her chest. She ignored the signals and finished her meal, trying to enjoy the moment. Upon leaving, the day's warmth had turned to a biting chill, and the world around her seemed blurry, unsteady. This persistent unease trailed her, a sign that, by accepting the money, she'd stepped into a trap woven by unseen powers. In the days that followed, Amina's anxiety deepened. The bill haunted her thoughts, with its chilling and burning sensations tormenting her. She tried convincing herself it was all in her head, but one morning, an overwhelming fatigue hit her upon waking. Her nights were filled with dark dreams, and shadows seemed to linger even in daylight. At school, her focus evaporated. Her mind kept drifting back to the cursed money she couldn't let go. On her way home, an irresistible hunger drew her back to the same bistro. It called to her like a siren, promising solace. The waitress greeted her with a strained smile that felt almost eerie. Amina sat at her usual spot, time stretching unnaturally. She ordered the same dish, but this time the meat was greasy, the vegetables overcooked. Each bite worsened her distress, as if the food was draining her life force instead of nourishing it. The waitress stared with piercing eyes, laced with mystery. A terrifying thought struck: what if this meal was consuming her from within? Dizzy and overwhelmed, Amina dropped her fork and fled. Outside, the air offered no relief. The cold intensified, shadows dogged her steps, sounds grew threatening. At home, her heart pounded wildly. She locked the door, but the evil had rooted deep. The room warped. Voices whispered in her head. A dark presence enveloped her. Shadows danced, eager to swallow her. In a final burst of clarity, she collapsed, screaming, before the darkness claimed her completely. Soon Amina became a mere shadow of herself, wandering her home like a lost soul, her gaze empty, shunning food and company. Villagers worried about her pallor, her silence, her eyes fixed on nothingness. Then, one morning, she vanished without a trace. Only the cursed bill remained, lying on the floor, waiting for its next victim. The village awoke under a leaden sky, with mist lingering in the air. Amina's house stood empty, heavy with an otherworldly weight. Elders whispered tales of madness, nocturnal murmurs, invisible presences. Children swore they heard her desperate cries on windy nights. The bill waited patiently, for the dark spirit never ceased its hunt. Thus, Amina's legend became an eternal warning. Never claim what isn't yours. For money can be a disguised curse, the gateway to a lost soul. Dear viewers, if this story captivated you, subscribe for more enchanting tales, like the video, and share it. Take care, and see you in the next adventure.